TheAngryHoneyBadger.
Yo, how you doing? It is ya boy, the Honey Badger here. Yeah, bringing it up. I'm just kidding, that's the worst intro ever, but I'm gonna keep it because I could honestly care less. Today we're taking a look at a new build for Nunu. So it's a new Nunu build, which is super fun to say. Have fun enjoying that. Because why not? Anyways, we're gonna look at him, and there's a reason for it. Personally, I think he's super easy to play. Never been like the most devastatingly great champion in the game, but one of the most annoying. That can be said for Nunu. We're going to go over runes and masteries, abilities, the items, some things you want to try, reasons why you might try playing Nunu, maybe some pros and some cons, all types of stuff. We're just going to talk. It's going to be Nunu. It's going to be a blast. First things first, though. Let's talk about runes and masteries. And when I say let's talk about them, I mean I'm going to put them on the screen right now. You're going to pause the video. You're going to open your League client. And you're going to put these in the client like you should. Those are the page, or at least the runes and masteries I used for this game, and or the ones I recommend you try out. Obviously, if there's a different version you like, do that too. All right, they're gone by now already because editing reasons. Anyways, we need to jump in and talk about his abilities first so we know what the man does, or the boy on the back of the Yeti. Anyways, first off, there is his passive, which is Visionary. Nunu can cast a spell for free after 5 attacks. So after 5 standard attacks, your next attack is free. It's kind of nice, honestly. You can Ice Blast people for free. You can eat some minions for free. You can do all types of stuff. It's great. At rank 1, we put a point into his Consume, which is his Q ability, which is what eats things and does tons of damage. And is one of the great reasons you'd play Nunu, because you can steal objectives with this because it scales up faster than Smite does. That's a great thing. It's also great for just going and taking early dragons by yourself, or never dying in the jungle, which a lot of people complain like, Badger, I can't jungle very well because I'm bad. Well, play Nunu. It's super easy. He eats things and he never dies. Try it. Also, when he ganks, people get slowed for days, and you can pretty much do that over and over. Those are 2 great reasons right there why you try Nunu. Anyways, Consume, rank 1. We max it out, well, honestly, I max it out second probably, but that's just because that's how I roll. But you can put 2 points into it early. It makes it really, really effective. One at rank 1 and one at rank 4. You can max out last 2 if you want. At least get a couple points in it early, though, because it is very, very good. At rank 2, some people will put a point in Blood Boil. Some people put a point into Ice Blast. I think I did Ice Blast. Blood Boil is great for standard attacking and getting your passive up more often. But if you want to have some early damage with Ice Blast and or gank ability power, you do that. What we will do, though, is we will max out Ice Blast first. And that is, of course, the Ice Ball you throw at enemy units. It hits them, it damages them, and it slows their movement speed and their attack speed. So, it's great. It lasts for 2 seconds, too, which is super freaking annoying. And if you have a red buff like I do right now to gank Tryndamere, you're going to Ice Blast them. They're going to be slowed. You'll slap them with an auto. Now they're slowed from a red buff. Then you'll Ice Blast them. Hey, guess what? They're slowed. And then you'll slap them with a red buff. Guess what? They're still slowed. And then Garen does that. I mean, come on. What can you even do about that? It's so annoying. Anyway, so that's what you're going to do. Ice Blast. Max it out first. Then, of course, we have the Consume. Put points into it as you need. What Blood Boil does is it will increase an allied unit's attack speed by a percentage and their movement speed as well. Nunu also gains those effects of Blood Boil if you cast it on an allied unit, or just cast it on yourself, or just do whatever you want with it, honestly. Movement speed and attack speed. It's a good thing. We like it. Hooray. And then, of course, his ultimate, which is absolute 0. While channeling for 3 seconds, it slows all enemies in the area by 25%, and it slows their, by 50%, and it slows their attack speed by 25%. After channeling, enemies caught in the area will be dealt damage, magic damage, based on how long they're in there, or based on how long you channeled it. You can cancel it early. Obviously, if you click to move after you start channeling it, you will cancel it right away, which means you get the slow proc, but honestly, that's it, so that's not good. Our Karma's AFK, but it's okay, because we're playing Nunu, meaning he's too tanky to deal with, and he's annoying, as I've talked about already in this build. So we're going to help bot lane out for the next, I don't know, few minutes. We can consume and eat things. Honestly, we don't have the world's greatest clear. That's one of the downsides to Nunu, so there's a con if we're talking about cons. He doesn't have the world's greatest clear. You'll snowball things and you'll eat things. That's about it. Sometimes you'll bust an ultimate for a massive wave if you really need to turn it around. But besides that, when you start to fight people, you can do this. You just walk up. I've split them in half. That separates the healer and the ADC. I really don't care about anything they're doing to me. We, for some reason, stopped focusing Soraka. I thought Cassiopeia would finish off the Soraka there so she couldn't keep healing, but it doesn't matter because we're Nunu. It's not like anybody's getting away. And, of course, Sivir shows up, and we kill them. It's going to happen again because they're overextending. Because our support is AFK. But that's okay. Doesn't matter. We're Nunu. It's honestly fine. But those are our abilities. Like I said, max out your E. Then I max out my Q personally because Giant Smite consumes that do 1,000 true damage. And then, of course, then do your Blood Boil. And, Absolute 0, 6, 11, 16, that's what's up. So, let's talk about that build now. A little bit, we can talk about that build. So, what we did is we went with the Trailblazer, I believe that's what we call that, and we got a couple wards there, and then that means we can swap out and get a Sweeper. Sweeper's great to have on Nunu because Sweeper means you can sweep bushes, and you can ult people from those bushes. If you are ulting as Nunu from a bush, and they do not have vision of you, they don't know why they're being slowed, and then all of a sudden the ult goes off and they lose half their life. That is how Nunus can surprise you with ganks. It's a bush tactic thing. It's honestly not the world's greatest thing to try bush tactics over and over, but it can work. So, be weary of that, or if you're playing against Nunu and you're like, why am I being slowed? Oh my god, he's in the bush, he's ulting, and then you're dead. I mean, it's too late by the time you react typically, unless you flash right away, but, that's the thing. Anyways, we're wreaking havoc on bot lane, snowball the face, and you're dead. So, yeah. It's really hard for people to get away. One thing you really want to do if you are playing as Nunu is get to the lanes where the enemies are pushing like way past halfway. You're going to get like 3 or 4 snowballs off by the time they get back to the turret. And by the time you get 3 or 4 snowballs off, they're probably already dead. So make sure you gank a lot with Nunu because it's easy and it's fun. You can even take like dragons and things without any mana because every 5 attacks you get to use an ability for free. So I can just keep consuming when it keeps coming back up and never care anymore. So Nunu. I love how they buffed him not that long ago to make him more viable. Nobody really played him. He was decently strong. They changed some of his AP scaling. We're not even playing AP Nunu. Like I said, we're talking about the build now. So, we're doing the Cinder Hulk style build path where you get the Bammy Cinder and you can get the extra health and the extra AoE damage, which is nice. They're good things to have, obviously, on a tanky jungler because that's what he is. He is a tanky jungler. You could play him as full AP. Long term, in a long game, unless you're getting perfect gank bush tactics off, you're going to have a bad time, honestly. But besides that, he is good. Now we're just going to pretty much 2v1 after Karma immediately disappeared this bot lane. We have a little bit of armor because their team's mostly physical damage. Like I said, we'll talk about the build in a second a little bit more. But let's face it, you're Nunu. You just consume minions while you're fighting people. Snowballs, auto attacks, snowballs, consume, snowballs. Snowballs. Am I making my point clear? Use snowball a lot. They never die, or they never go away, and you never die. Super helpful. Anyways, Cinder Hulk. That's what we did. We have the first part of our boots as well. And then during the early part of this game, we decided to go for a little bit of what I like to call defense. And that is what we have in the bottom. You can see that Glacial Shroud and the Warden's Mail. Those two team up to make... Are we buying it right now? We did. The Frozen Heart. Frozen Heart, very good item on Nunu. Luckily, with Cinder Hulk and our Mastery page setup, we are getting health that way, so we don't necessarily have to build straight health items early. I mean, Cinder Hulk is, but you know what I mean? We don't have to really go for anything like a, I don't know, like a Warmogs or a Omen. We don't have to do any of that early because we're getting enough health from that. But that means we can get a very impactful item with the Frozen Heart. As we know, it gives us a ton of mana, so a bigger mana pool, which is always a good thing. There's a great ult that they knew about because they had it warded, which is sad. So we can get that. It gives us cooldown reduction. More snowballs equals more fun, as we know. And it makes us super tanky and slows their attack speed. It's great things. Their team has a Caitlyn, an Olaf, and a Tryndamere. That's like the greatest item against this team. So that was a super easy choice. Also, you'd just get pretty much anyways on Nunu. Here we're just going to go interrupt Baron. Also, I don't know why you'd go Baron against a team that has a Nunu. I mean, they don't know my flash is down, I don't think. But regardless, I could smite Consume and definitely outsmite Olaf that way, despite his little bit of true damage. Pulling them off of that, though, did get the Olaf killed to Baron. Now the rest of their team is getting overextended while my team shows up, as I was just basically trying to cause shenanigans, and hey, look, it worked. And even with no life right now, I'm going to put a point in Consume, and we're just going to go eat a big chunk of health off this minion, and we're going to be fine. So, yeah, we did the Frozen Heart. It's very, very good. We also did Ninja Tabby because of the physical damage-heavy team. If it wasn't a physically damage-heavy team and we didn't need tons of armor this game, probably would go with Merc Treads so we could have some tenacity, because it's a good thing to have. The tenacity, as we know, helps against all those slows, roots, taunts, snares, any kind of crowd control. Or if you really wanted to be crazy, you could go with Boots of Swiftness, have some extra speed, keep those snowballs coming, and really never let them out of your snowball zone. Here we're going to let Olaf chase me, I don't know why you're chasing down a super tanky person. Granted, I have anything want to shut me down, but what a waste of time for him. He's going to die, and I'm still alive, and I'm going to laugh at his body because that's what you do. You're winning. Do it some more. So yeah, that's what we picked up. The next item I also like to get when I am playing tanky Nunu. It helps me with a tiny bit of damage because it's got a sheen in it, but it's got a glacial shot. It gives us even more armor because against this team, like I said, we're going to be stacking armor. We're going to be going with the Iceborne Gauntlet. It's super good. After you snowball somebody and they're slowed, you auto-attack them, and then they're slowed again because of that AoE nonsense with the Gauntlet. So after that happens, and you snowball again, and you just smack them in the face for another Iceborne Gauntlet proc, and guess what? They don't go anywhere, and then they die. It's you know, Nunu doesn't have a stun in his kit. But my God, slows are almost more annoying than stuns. At least with a stun, you know you couldn't have done anything because you were stunned. But with slows, it's just like you feel like you're dying in like thick syrup. What a terrible way to go. Unless, of course, you're at Willy Wonka's factory, in which that's a great way to go. Caitlin put her traps too far apart and just walk through them. You can do that too, even despite your boxes being a little bit bigger. If we weren't against a full AD team, we wouldn't just build straight AD, though. I need to obviously say that because somebody's going to get confused and blame me that this build is bad. The next item you would have typically have gotten after your heart, you would have probably gone with a Spirit Visage or Visage, depending on how you like to say things. Really, really good item. It obviously gives us some cooldown reduction, which we like. It gives us a good amount of health, too, at 500. Very good to have, obviously, as the game goes on. So it makes all your resists work in your benefit. And then you also get some magic resist, which is nice. And you get the increased healing, regeneration, and drain effects for yourself by 25%, meaning our consume is even better. So just kind of a perfect item, honestly, for Nunu. CDR, health, magic resist because you need it, and then bigger consumes. It's just a really good item. It's what you do next. In fact, I'm actually building it against them. Why did I say they also have a Fiora? When did they get a Fiora? No, they had a Fiora too. Yes, that was the funny part. That's why. Also, they had all AD. That's right. I feel like I'm crazy. No, I'm right. Okay, anyways. Yeah, so we're going to get that because they have a tiny bit of magic damage. Not necessarily anything that I really need to worry about, but for build purpose examples, because I knew this was going to be a build, I was like, well, we'll get the Spirit Visage because it's still going to help with our consumes and regeneration effects, even if they don't have anything against me. The health is always good, and the magic resistance, I don't have any magic damage that they're doing, mostly from the Soraka, I'm not going to have to worry about at all. So it's very good. I guess even Tryndamere has some magic damage too, and Fiora technically. So there's magic damage within AD heavy teams. Not that that's really going to be chunking you out. Here's our Death Brush. It's not really working. They had it warded, or the area around it warded, but it's okay because they see me leave and then they think, you know, why not? And then I don't know why they run out of our team because it's 29-17. I don't know why they're trying to just run at us with fights. Look how spread out they are. Look at this teamwork. That's zoning. That's a zoning out right there. That's there's a snowball and a super dead Caitlin. We're going to pick up a handful more of Sis, but obviously this game is going to be ending shortly. When it comes to final items, there's a few ways you could go with that. You could go with an Omen, more health, more armor. If it's really heavy attack damage team late game, you go with the Thorn Mail. If you wanted a Locket of the Iron Solari or a ZZ Rot, very good too. Check them out. Everything's in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next build.